Die! We're back! It's Dubster Live! Yes. Of course.
You knew it was coming.
Series where we talk about something's English dub. And this is our Christmas episode, Die, and nothing screams Christmas more than killing demons in the name of Jesus. What? Does that not have enough holiday cheer?
Yeah, semen demons.
Oh, come on, this anime does have a Christmas episode, so it still counts, technically. Okay, so I guess...
really, though?
Yeah, I guess we should get to it. Chrono Crusade, an old manga/anime that deals with themes of faith, religion, and everything else, which I always like seeing Japan's take on Christianity, and this one is probably the closest I've seen them actually get, so... Chrono Crusade was a manga written by Daisuke Moriyama, who's currently working on the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works manga adaptation, and it ran from 1999 to 2004. The anime was done by Studio Gunzo! How much CG did this anime have? Because they were one of the ones who really loved that shit.
Some CG here. A rape horse that... Wait a minute. Wrong thing.
That's Berserk.
That wasn't CG. That was love.
Well, Gunzo also did Rosario Vampire, a show that still somehow hasn't gotten a season 3 despite everything else getting multiple seasons. Don't judge me. That show was amazing, and you know it was. Anyway, Chrono Crusade aired in 2003 and would wrap up its 24-ep run in 2004, with ADV Films getting the dub rights then and also putting it out in 2004. Which, I think it's funny, on one of the commentaries they were saying how quickly it is that anime dubs come out nowadays. Back in 2004, it's like, yeah, if only you all knew about the simuldub shit coming up. But you all know what happened to ADV. They went out of business in 2009, and Funimation would get the rights to Chrono Crusade and put out their own Save Edition version of it, and it might still be in print. I have no idea, because this company is incompetent and allergic to standard definition Blu-rays, I guess. So, anyway. Chrono Crusade follows Rosette, 16-year-old waifu girl person, who forms a contract with a demon named Chrono, because she's on a journey to find her brother who was abducted by a demon, and she wants to save him. So she works with the Church of Magdalene, or the Magdalene Order, to hunt demons. And yes, the anime does bring up the point of, well, I mean, how can she call herself someone who believes in the Lord and faith and stuff when she herself formed a contract with a demon in order to take on other demons? Isn't that a little hypocritical? So, they do try approaching that. First, Die, animation, how was it?
Better than Orient.
You say that every time. But was it better than Platinum End?
Okay, okay, Orient was probably better than Platinum End. So Orient gets a 1 today.
Yeah. I mean, I looked it up and people said they liked a lot of the artwork in the anime. You know, the key art and shit.
Yeah. And being so this came out about 20 years ago compared to the other ones in question, it's no contest.
Yeah. What the fuck is that? Are you murdering someone? God, do you have a demon in your house?
No, someone's just getting stuff from out of the attic.
It sounds like you're... Oh, so you have a demon in your attic. Alright. I got you. Well... Oh my god, a demon! Okay. Anyway. So, yeah. As far as soundtrack goes, it's alright. I mean, this anime, I should mention, also takes place in the 1920s, so a lot of the music is supposed to be jazzy to reflect that and shit. So, it works. In fact, because of the 1920s time period, the dub made some choices which actually I think worked really well, if you think about it. Because it means they put in a lot of effort with this shit. Something that's rare. Nowadays, especially. Speaking of which, I guess we should get why this is called Dubster Dive. So first, the ADR director and scriptwriter was Matt Greenfield, who would go on to say the scripting, they had to do a lot of research to look up terms from the 1920s and make sure they worked. So you get a lot of shit. Great balls of fire, right, Di?
Yeah. You definitely get something.
Or characters saying everything's Jake, which is just that terminology meaning everything's okay. I think I'm going to use that term from now on. Jake from State Farm.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. So if you like that old 1920s, I guess, what do you call it, dialect or language, you'll probably really enjoy this one. They went out of their way with the script. This is probably one of ADV's better dubs, to be honest, too, across the board. Speaking of which, we have our main female, Rosette, voiced by Hilary Haig, who we've never covered here before. What are you talking about? It is not if you cover a Sentai ADV show, she's in it. Well,
you're trying really hard to act otherwise.
She's Fuko in Clannad and Chihiro in Azumanga. We've also covered her in the DMC anime, so, and plenty of other things too.
We just trash.
Covered her in fucking Xenosaga's anime too. And yeah, she's easily one of the MVPs of the dub. Rosette is special. Okay, she's kind of an idiot.
Yeah. It doesn't help early on that they're clearly finding their way around things because there's some tonal issues early on.
Yeah, you'll either be a fan of it or you won't. I've seen some people like how comedic and over-the-top like slapstick it is in the beginning, and then the show goes really dark in the back half. So it all depends on you. It was a director's decision, apparently, from the anime staff to do that, to try having it start off a little lighthearted or whatever, so when characters start dying off, you're more attached to them. Probably could have been executed a little better, though, but your mileage will vary on that. But yeah, Rosette is clumsy, really loud, and kind of stupid. So, of course, Hilary would go on to say in one of the commentaries she lost her voice numerous times voicing this character. And that there was points where she couldn't even do the grunts or screams. So, there's that. In fact, it was even commented that the scene where she forms a contract with Chrono, you know, the flashback episode?
Yeah.
Where she's listing the reasons why she wants to and how she needs to save her brother. That it took her 3 hours to record that because of the way the scene was done and the awkward pauses in it. Needless to say, this character took her a lot to do. Which is why, I mean, I say the effort paid off. You could tell she definitely had fun with the character.
Fun.
Yeah. And it's not like Rosette's incompetent. I mean, she has good aim when fighting the demons. She's just kind of stupid.
When she's not destroying half the city block.
Yeah, she's also a terrible driver. Like, really, really bad driver. Women drivers, am I right? I'm sorry, I had to. No, there's actually a scene where, going back to the dialect, where Chrono calls her a regular Barney Oldfield. I had no idea what the fuck that meant, and I had to pull it up, and yeah, apparently Barney Oldfield is the guy who was known for hilariously shit reckless driving, who more or less coined the term of reckless driver in the 1920s. Proving, yeah, ADV really went out of their way for that type of reference in the script. But speaking of Chrono, let's move on to him. And speaking of people you can't escape at ADV, Greg Harris. Do you like Frost at DB Super?
The Snowman?
Yeah. He's also Shikishima from Getter RoboArc. Not to be confused with Tsukishima is my friend. Which apparently Getter Robo inspired Gurren Lagann a little bit. We gotta go back to that show at some point. But Chrono had a Devil Trigger form! You know, his demon form. Which I'm surprised they didn't CGI the fuck out of in some way. But then again, I guess this was before CG really took off, huh?
Yeah. Now, what are you talking about? CG has really taken off. Just look at peak CG like Berserk.
I had to go there.
2060.
You had to go there. Whatever.
That's because most CG ends up looking like an abomination like that.
Well, Chrono, apparently Greg said he was just playing himself when it came to Chrono's normal human form. And with his devil form, when he had to do a deep voice, that was something new that he had to do at the time that he wasn't used to doing. Nowadays, you could probably find lots of roles where he does that. Apparently, he also quit smoking during the recording of this, so there were problems with that too, because it kept throwing his voice off. I wouldn't know. Maybe someone could tell me if they've quit smoking, if it fucks up your voice for a while or something. I've never smoked. If you smoked, would you know?
Yes, I smoked 17 packs a day. No.
Oh. I knew it. Either way, Greg Harris does a good job. You could tell he had fun with it. Everyone in this dub had a lot of fun. Speaking of which, next we have our main villain, Ion, who they keep calling Eon or Aeon for the first 4 episodes. Remember, this was dubbed in volumes with ADV, and they didn't start getting his name correct till after Ep 5. So, Ion is meant to be a representation of the Antichrist. In short, his whole thing of he wants to bring about revelations and do his own ending to it. And he also likes manipulating the masses and, you know, whisper sweet nothings in their ear to motivate them to his cause. And it goes into the whole theme of faith and all of that, with how he constantly says to Rosette and everyone else opposing him, why would you listen to God and have faith in him when you know as well as I do you'll never hear his voice, yet you keep praying anyways? Again, playing into the theme of the anime or whatever, that faith is important, etc. Well, Ion is voiced by Andy McGavin, who, for some reason, I kept thinking probably wouldn't sound too far off from one of David Vincent's voices this whole time. Or is that just me?
No, you just have too much David Vincent on the brain.
I can't. David Vincent's cool, man. Well, Andy is known for voicing
or
Alan.
David Ernest, or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah. But he voiced Alan in the Dirty Pair OVAs. Which I wonder if they're going to get him back for the anime that was Kickstarted dub. Speaking of which, where the fuck's that dub? It's supposed to come out this year. He's also Tomozawa in The Place Promised in Our Early Days. You know, that movie done by the Your Name guy.
Okay, I missed like the last 30 seconds because the headset did the stupid thing.
I was just listing off roles he was. It was so good. But I think he did great as Ion. He hammed it up and did a good job sounding, you know, sinister. Hell, they even pointed out in the commentary he probably could have pulled a car salesman off with some of the shit he was saying to sound manipulative and convince people to come to his side. So,
do yourself a favor and never buy a wireless headset.
You're welcome, Die. The problem is the wired headsets, though, just a lot of them, the quality of the mic itself isn't very good. It's kind of annoying. Or the quality of the headset itself and on, you know, for next gen.
I mean, then again, it only does this shit when we're on PS4.
Yep. In short, though, Ion was a great villain, and yeah, he was kind of a cunt. Rightfully so, though. Speaking of main characters, though, after him, we have Joshua Christopher, Rosette's younger brother. He's voiced by Chris Patton. Shun from the ADV dub of Saint Seiya. I know Knights of the Zodiac has another season coming. Please, just stop. I know. And he's also...
Isn't it great?
He's also Gowry in the Slayer's Premium. Which, that's a retrospective we gotta do at some point, though. I want to hear ADV's take on some of the Slayer's cast.
That just sounds silly.
So, I'll go over the commentaries in a bit and everything that was revealed, but I'll just give this right now. Chris Patton said this character was the hardest to voice that he's ever had to do at that point. Even harder than stage acting, voice acting from the back in 04. That, yeah, this character nearly broke him. And there's a reason for that. Josh has a lot of screaming. Because when he was basically convinced to join Ion's cause, he more or less becomes a demon himself, and I guess transforming into a demon makes you scream a lot.
Yeah, people tend to do that in anime, so it's fine.
He's lucky Turles in Dragon Ball didn't have to scream that much, I guess. Could you imagine if he were cast as a Super Saiyan or something? Well... After him, though, Chris Patton, by the way, did amazing as Josh, so no complaints here. We have Father Remington, the head of the New York branch of the Magdalene Order, because of course it's in New York, guys. I should have mentioned that's where this takes place. Because, demons in New York. Japan has a fetish for that. Blood Blockade Battlefront, Garo Vanishing Line, could probably name a bunch of others. I wouldn't be surprised...
New York, one of the most basic locations you can get if you base something in America.
X-Men's also in New York, and those guys are demons, right? Mutants, demons, same thing. Well, Father Remington is voiced by Jason Douglas, who's Bills from Dragon Ball Super. Remember when people kept calling him that?
Cat in the room.
Yeah, I don't know. He's also Masami from After the Rain. And I think he does a really good job as Remington. He gives him a slight posh accent, I guess. In fact, they were even trying to avoid casting Jason Douglas as him because they thought that'd be too obvious since he's typecasted as this type of character a lot. But they said after hearing his audition...
But they did it anyway.
Oh yeah, no, they even said after his audition, they were like, fuck, we can't pick anyone else. We have to go with him. He's perfect as this character anyways. So, yeah. And I mean, for good reason. He does a good job as the mentor figure to Rosette. Which... yeah. Speaking of other characters that are heads of the Order, Sister Kate is next. Voiced by Laura Chapman, who's Celia from Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040. It's another classic we need to watch at some point, I keep hearing it's really good. And producer from Excel Saga. The show, the main voice actor killed her throat and had to take a break from voice acting because of it. And...
oh, what's that, man?
I don't know. But she had fun voicing Sister Kate, you could tell. Sister Kate's one who's very angry and constantly switches moods a lot. So she goes from being angry at Rosette because Rosette fucks up to being nice also when that doesn't have to do with Rosette.
But mostly angry.
Yeah.
This does a lot of fucking up.
Yeah. Apparently they said they were inspired with her performance or whatever by Inspector Dreyfus from the Pink Panther of all things. Because apparently that character has mood swings a lot too. So, sure, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, the whole thing is the dynamic is Father Remington wants to push Rosette farther into demon hunting because he believes that she can handle it, whereas Sister Kate thinks, no, she's not ready yet, stop it. She's too young and inexperienced, etc. Oh.
She's too special.
Too stupid.
That too.
So, she does fine. After her, we have Asmaria. So, time to bring up this plot point. For Ion's plan to succeed, he needs to gather the 7 apostles of God. each apostle is given a different virtue. For example, Josh was hope, as Maria is charity. She can sing and heal people with her voice. In fact, she sings so well that her singing's in another language. Yeah, if you all thought ADV were going to dub the singing in this show, you all are out of your mind. As Maria is voiced by Jessica Boone, who's Hakwa from The World God Only Knows, the first voice of Hakwa, and Ray, that bitch who got slapped in High School of the Dead. And, I mean, I think she does fine. She even has to do the whole, they did the skits under the extras of the DVDs for this, where she expands the world and explains some of the terminology and lore to you. And she fucked up hilariously there in listing off the 7 deadly sins. Yeah, she called sloth sloth. And even though she said it correctly earlier in one of the other shorts when listing off the sins. The sad part is they almost made it, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. They almost did. This is one of the few times
I do.
Oh, Chris Harris isn't here. Just his brother. But yeah, as Mario is your typical white mage. She's clumsy, trips over everything, and is shy, timid, innocent type. You all know the deal.
And breaks everything.
Yeah.
And trips over everything.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's worth mentioning twice.
Oh, she's fine. Next, we have Master Roshi. I mean, Elder. The Elder is the mechanic who builds weapons and devices for all of them. So he's the weaponsmith, I guess. And he's also a huge perv. Because anime trope. Voiced by John Swayze, Crocodile, and... well, from One Piece, obviously. And Santa from Episode 9 of the DMC anime. See, going back to that Christmas theme, Die. We have a Santa here. And also John Swayze played like 15 other ad voices and one-off characters. So
there's also some minor character in My Hero.
All for one indeed. So if you want to hear him play his take on Master Roshi, I guess this is as close as you're going to get. No, seriously, he makes a comment saying, "Hey, Rosette, you want to try out this new special gun that no one else knows I made? Then let me fondle you a bit." You all know the drill with him. You can tell John had fun, though. We're almost done, Die. Only a few more characters left to name off. Next, we have Zatella, who's German. So, of course, they've got her voiced by Tiffany Grant, Asuka from Avon Jellyfish, and Laura from Infinite Stratos. Because you all know, it's, if you have someone who's German at ADV, you gotta get her to voice them. They probably only did this because Tiffany Grant was there at the time recording the Evangelion Director's Cut episodes. Figured, hey, we have a German you need to voice.
Probably from Ofu, too.
Probably. So, I feel like this character, this is one of those shows that only works in dub, isn't it? Especially with Zatella. You could tell one of the direct translations, though, where Zatella introduces herself, and it's either Rosette or Chrono, one of them reacts going, "Wait, you're German?" And it's like, no shit, what gave it away? The fucking accent? Her saying words in German?
I don't know. They can say words, but did they even really mean anything?
Well, Zatella is also somewhat tsundere, because of course she is. And she's what's known as a jewel summoner. She can use jewels to summon monsters to fight for her. And...
totally not a stand.
Yeah, it's...
Air quotes.
It's a fucking stand. And she's trying to find her sister. Because, you know, her sister went missing, etc. That's her whole thing. Thus, her and Rosette have a pseudo-rivalry with each other. You all get the thing, right?
Rivalry?
Rivalry. Turtlery. Oh. Zatella's fine. Next, we have one of our other main villains, I guess, Fiore. Or Nomi's spirit animal. She says Josh a lot. It's an in-joke. I don't think you'd all get it. Anyway, because it's ADV, she's voiced by Monica Royale. Bulma 237 from Dragon Ball. The undefeated streak continues. I'm going to keep this joke going, damn it. You're not stopping me.
The most irrelevant and worst of the Bulmas.
And Stocking from Panty and Stocking. I'm glad Studio Trigger at least got the rights back to that. Anyway, so, yeah, this character is kind of emotionless. Her whole thing is she's a stand-in for Josh's older sister when Josh got abducted, so he constantly calls her Big Sis. So because of that, she's meant to be a blank slate, human person. Which means that, I'm gonna be a dick and say it, almost anyone could have voiced this character with how she's portrayed.
Get fucked.
I mean, to be fair, I guess she does try giving her a German accent in the flashbacks, so there's that.
Yeah, but trying is different than doing. Anyway.
Well, the last couple main characters, we have Steiner. Yeah, we kept making the reading Steiner jokes too every time they said his name. He's Zatella's butler, voiced by John Tyson, who's Wolfgang from Divergence Eve, and Asuka's father from Evangelion, of fucking course. You all couldn't resist, could you?
Yeah.
Well, again, pseudo-father figured as Zatella and her butler, so he gives him a slight posh accent too. It's not bad. The last main to go over, though, is a demon who wants to go against Ion because he feels he's disrupting the natural balance and order of things. Named Defoe. Sadly not William Defoe. No, instead he's voiced by Rob Mongol, fucking Morrison from the DMC anime. And I guess he does fine as him. No complaints. The last thing I'll mention, though, is one of the very minor characters switching voice actors mid-volume, which doesn't really make sense to me.
Did you even really notice?
I mean, if you know ahead of time, you will, but if not, yeah, you're probably not going to. But I'm still going to bring it up anyways, because it's just weird. So there are this is a trope that I've also seen done in other anime, where you have three minor characters that are basically dubbed the Three Idiots. Muv-Luv used this trope, and I've seen it done a couple of other times too. Three minor characters that keep exaggerating the situation and are more or less there for comedic relief and background stupidity. They're with the Church of Magdalene, so they constantly comment and exaggerate the rumor of Rosette saying, like, "Did you hear she crashed a car into another car? I heard she crashed it into a building. I heard her car exploded and blew up the entire block."
No, it blew up my headset and made it desync again.
Holy shit, dude, that's impressive.
Yeah,
well, one of them...
Clearly it's Rosette's fault.
Well, one of them is voiced by Sister Anna, or one of them is named Sister Anna. She was voiced by Mandy Clark, who's Rika from Razafon, and Pippin the Penguin from Evangelion. Yeah, she got to make penguin noises. That's the mascot. Don't worry about it. But for some reason, in Ep 16 onward, she switched to Brittany Karbowski in one of her earliest roles. Or Tendo from Gamers. Who didn't waifu Tendo die?
Definitely not you.
And, I mean, it's such a minor character. There's not really much to comment on performance-wise with either one of them. But still, these volumes were 4-episode batches, so they switched mid-volume. It's just weird. It's weird, man.
Yeah, they could have done with making these three actual characters.
Now, I know why they didn't, though. Again, it's a trope. That's why. Because in Muv-Luv, the Three Idiots, as they're dubbed, aren't real characters either. They're just yes-men that are made for stupid relief thing. Who knows? Though? Maybe in the manga they are actual characters, because... Yeah, this is in
If they
that
would have
time
been
period.
actual characters, they could have fleshed out the church more. Instead of be essentially have 4 characters.
Yeah, and the church is even run by a council of idiots. Or council of useless. We need to act out.
Both.
Demons are on the loose. Well, we need to consort with the other council member. It's like, what? Just, no! Remington is right, you dumbasses! Act now!
Yeah, but if we wait, then we will do the thing.
Whatever. So yeah, as I was saying though, the anime came out in 03, so you know what that means? Half of it is filler. Yeah, it goes in its own direction, and from what I heard from people, was probably for the best in some regard. Because the ending in particular, from what I looked up, is much better in the anime. In fact, people who've seen the anime will remember the ending first and foremost, and I don't mean that in a bad way. The ending's actually decently done. So, yeah. Before we get to spoilers, though, let's just go over what was revealed on the commentaries real quick. First one was Matt Greenfield, Hilary Haig, and Greg Aris. And this is where they went over the whole thing of the script and all that. Nahori lost her voice. Oh, and the grunts. Can you believe it, Die? I mean, they also made a comment saying the reason the police were Irish is because, you know, Irish cops in New York in the 1920s.
Yeah.
So.
And the Irish are everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, hey, all the accents are appropriate, even if some of them are silly and over the top. Like, you get a Scottish demon. I just want to know why.
Oh my god! All right, you keep going. I'm gonna turn this thing off and plug it back in again.
Fun, man. But yeah, so all the accents are appropriate. I think some of them are better than others, obviously, but you don't might as well vary on that. The second commentary was Matt Greenfield and Chris Patton, and that's when Chris said this was one of the hardest roles he's ever had to do. What's up? Oh, you're back?
What?
Okay. I mean, hey, on one of these is when they revealed that the demons didn't have, you know, sound effects on their voices in the Weebanese version, so they had to add those in the dub and put filters on them to make it sound more demonic, which I think works better. I'm actually glad they did that.
Can the demon save me from my mic desyncing?
Nope, you're stuck with that. And, yeah, they also revealed on this commentary that the flashback scene with Rosette and Josh, because, you know, they came from an orphanage or whatever, a lot of the youngins here were voiced by actual child actors. One of them being Tyler Galendo, who's still voicing today. So I guess he's their equivalent of Aaron Dismuke. I mean, he's Takeshi in the new Kaiji dub. Yes, that is a show definitely to watch at some point.
But it won't cost.
Yeah, exactly. And you get Chris Patton playing Chibi Josh, which they said to make him sound slightly younger, they did processing with the engineering. And to be honest, I don't think it sounds terrible. It's not like someone from Platinum End. I am never letting that go. Fuck off with that.
What, you act like they had someone who could have done that right over there in the corner.
Yeah. It was also here where Chris killed his voice during the demon transformation, which his voice getting deeper during the demon transformation they said was a conscious decision. He also said going between the demon voice and his normal voice was really fucking hard to do. I imagine it would be. But, yeah. But hey, Chris Patton's the one who made the comment saying that this show in particular he feels brought out the best in a lot of the voice actors and made them want to try harder. Because they all really loved fucking working on this show and enjoyed the aesthetic, time period, and everything. And that actually shows in the performance. I'm going to be honest, I said at the beginning, I don't know, man. I think this was one of ADV's better dubs. Because a lot of their other dubs could be very hit or miss, much like a lot of dubs today being just okay. If you haven't seen this show yet, I'd say go for it. I enjoyed it. D and Angel I remember liking too, which is what I was worried about when we watched this, to be honest. It's like, oh god, is this going to be another D and Angel where it's not as good as I remember, not even close? It's like, no. Show definitely has things you can nitpick, but we'll get to that in the spoilers. One of the things that probably could have been handled better.
D and Angel killed my mic again.
Holy shit. Your mic's not having a good day.
Never use a wireless headset on a PlayStation.
Yeah, don't do it on a PS4. Don't do it on a PS4. Moral of the story. But yeah. If you haven't seen the show yet, go for it. I'd recommend it. I don't think it's on any app right now. At least it wasn't on Crunchy or Hulu. And yeah, I mean the DVDs are cheap enough actually. But we're going into spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you all know the drill. Going to be spoiling the ending and the other stuff. Alright. So, I take it you're going to refer to Satella's death, right, Dai?
What?
Yeah, doesn't she just commit seppuku after her fight with Fiore? Or something? What?
She just essentially lets you...
I get... Yeah, she essentially lets herself just die. I'm guessing it's because she realized she's all alone now. Yeah, your mic is cutting out horribly, man. It is not having a good day on the PS4. Which normally it's my mic. This is different. It's a plot twist.
Alright, what about now?
There we go. Better. Okay, so what now?
I mean, they didn't introduce the plot point of that being her sister until the very end there, really?
No, they, because we knew she was looking for her sister, and it's more or less implied if you, like in the flashbacks, I guess, because her sister is voiced by the same person, just with an accent. So
yeah,
I guess
which happens...
That's like at 14 or 15. So it's in the back half.
Yeah, but it happens like an episode later.
What? You mean when she... No, she dies in like Ep 22. If that's what you mean. But I guess you mean they should have reunited before that and tried doing something first? Yeah. Okay.
They just escalate it so fast, and then she's just essentially committing Sudoku now.
Yeah, the only thing I could...
person who's essentially already dead, mind you.
The only thing I can infer is she was the last remaining jewel summoner, so, and her sister was gone, so she probably felt like she had nothing to live for anymore, I guess, because her butler was also killed too, so she was basically all alone. But yeah, it probably could have been handled better. From what I looked up, this is one plot point people agreed on was handled better in the manga. Speaking of which, the thing handled really well here at the ending.
Oh my god.
Your headset was fine before we went live, too. That's the best part. You sure it's not at low battery?
I can try. I'll try plugging it in and you go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say just do that. Yeah, so the ending, every time Rosette uses Chrono's power, it drains her lifespan. That's stated in Ep 2. So there was only one way this could end, and they actually don't puss out. It does end with them getting murked, them dying. And it's one of those...
they died.
Yeah, it's one of those bittersweet endings, too. They died happily, at least. They found some happiness at the end. Whereas in the manga, apparently she does live a lot longer, which kind of feels cheap to me. So I'm glad the anime didn't do that shit.
They needed a happiness ending.
Yeah. Well, at least Ion got murked. Fuck you, Ion, dick. Yeah.
But he just wanted love. Your love.
Your love. But anyways, I guess that's about it, unless there's something else you want to bring up. I mean, Remington being an angel, I'm not sure was filler or not. Especially because, it's like, oh, he's an angel. Takes out a demon, and then that's really it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just those three characters should have been actual characters, and how they handled the Zatel thing.
Yeah. Like I said, the three characters is just a dumb trope that they do. So that's why I'm used to it at this point with that shit. But, whatever. If you haven't seen the show yet, even though we just spoiled the ending, I'd say still go watch it, because I still think it's effective. And again, this is the closest I've seen Japan get accurately close to the representing Christianity. You could tell the mangaka and the anime staff definitely did do research, which is what those shorts are for, that Asmaria does, or whatever, where she basically tells the audience about Christianity in terms and stuff. Probably because a lot of the Japanese audience aren't Christian. It's not a really big thing over there, especially with the past and how Christianity was treated in Japan. But that's about it. MVPs for the dub, I made Hilary Haig, Greg Harris, Andy McGavin, and Chris Patton, I think, were the four best. But I don't think there was any god-awful performances in this dub.
Yeah.
I think all of them did good. As far as next time, though, it'll most likely be next year. So, we're finally going to do it. Get around to a show that's been requested many, many times. Your hint is Finland! Finland die?
No. That's wrong.
But, till then, let us know what you all thought of this anime. And who you think Best Girl is, and why the answer is Totes Rosette. Die, how could you not waifu that?
I'm good.
Too stupid for you?
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Well, whatever. You can have wrong taste if you want. Alright guys, hope you all have yourselves a Merry Christmas. And if you don't celebrate it, then just have a good day or something. I don't know what to tell you. Make sure what?
And make sure you ask Kanomi about Josh.
Yeah, and also, I guess make sure not to use a wireless headset on a PS4. That's also the moral of the story.
Yes. That.
Well, thanks again for watching, guys. Until next time. Merry Christmas! Bye!